Lucy.
Hey, Lucy. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy's how everyone greets her when they see her at school or in the street. All of the children ask her, what time today will you and Sister Grace meet? Hi, Lucy's how everyone greets her. There's always a thought in her head. She's always got a question or some kind of story to tell. You are our friend Lucy. We like to listen to what you say. You teach us things that are good and help us grow in our faith. With you we have fun, Lucy. We love to watch your show. And when we hear the bell, we know you have to go. Jesus smiles when he sees her make an effort in all she can. Lucy, we want to be your friends so you can teach us to love him.
Hi, Sister Grace.
Hi, Lucy.
Hey, what you doing?
I was just reading a magazine that
Hey, how was
came
your morning,
in.
Sister Grace?
It was great. It was great. I
Really?
got a lot done today.
You did?
Yeah, because some of the students, they had to leave early because they had to go on a field trip. So I had.
Did you have
a lot of
Spanish
fun.
class today?
Yes, we
Did you do the
counted up to
colors
10.
today?
No, today we counted up to 10. Uno, dos,
Oh, yeah,
tres,
tres,
cuatro,
Cinco,
cinco. Remember?
ocho.
No.
Oh, I can't. What is
What's
it?
after 5?
Six.
So you seis, siete,
Siete, ocho, nueve, diez. Yeah.
Very good.
I know verde also, and I know rojo,
Very good.
Yeah.
What's amarillo?
yellow,
Yellow.
Yeah.
Azul.
blue.
Very good.
Hey, Sister Grace, you know what?
What?
When I said red, I just remembered about something that we had in class today. You know
What
what?
happened? Yeah, what?
You know Bernadette? Yeah, you do.
Yes, yeah, I know who she
It's
is.
Jessica's sister.
She has,
you have her in
she
your
has the long
Spanish class.
curly hair.
Uh-huh,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
And
I
sometimes she
know.
wears it braided.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? She had a little toy that she brought into class today. And it's a little snail. It's so cute, Sister Grace.
It's a toy.
Yeah, it's a little toy.
I've never seen a toy
Yeah,
snail
I'm going to
before.
show you it, Sister Grace.
I saw real snails. I saw a lot of them when I was in Spain.
Yeah, in France, sometimes they eat them alive, Sister Grace, the snail.
Oh.
Yeah, but you know what?
What happened?
Well, Bernadette had this little snail today. And sometimes, you know what happens when you touch his shell? His head comes out, and it turns red. All his face, it glows up red. And then it goes back inside the shell. It is so cute, Sister Grace. It's the
It turns
cutest
red.
little snail.
Oh, so it goes out and
Yeah.
it turns red. It glows.
Yeah,
Like
it
a
comes,
glow in the dark.
No, when it comes out, it goes really slow. It's like, ooh, like that. And then it goes back in really, really fast again because it gets embarrassed, Sister Grace. When
What's
we
it called? Are they? Oh, are those the embarrassed?
No.
snails? No.
We called it Sammy because as it starts with S, we were going to call it Shannon the snail. But Shannon in my class was like, no, don't call me a
But
snail.
you could call it Shy Sammy.
Yeah, we're just going to call it Sammy the snail, Sister Grace.
Sammy the snail.
Yeah,
that's
because I was
fine.
like, let's call it Shannon. And Shannon was like, no way, Lucy. Let's call Lucy the lizard. And,
Oh, no.
and then we were like, no.
No.
And so Bernadette said, okay, let's just call it Sammy, okay? And so we're just going to call it Sammy. But you know what?
What?
There's a girl in my class, Sister Grace, and she's exactly like Sammy the snail. You know why?
How could she be like Sammy
She
the
doesn't
snail?
have a shell. She doesn't have a shell.
That's what
Don't
I
get
was
afraid,
saying,
Sister
Lucy.
Grace. She doesn't have a shell, but you know what?
What?
When you talk to her sometimes, Sister Grace, she puts her head down and it nearly disappears into her shirt, okay? Like she puts her head down and her face goes all red. And I'm like, what's up with you? And she's like, nothing. And she just looks at the ground all the time. And whenever a teacher talks to her, or whenever anyone talks to her, Sister Grace, she's like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know, like that, you know?
You know what that's called, Lucy? Shyness.
Shyness.
When someone's shy, that's a natural reaction. Sometimes when they're very timid, they're very shy.
She is
they
really
turn
shy.
Red. Their whole entire face.
Yeah, like
turns
Sammy the
red,
snail.
And they start feeling hot.
And they stutter.
Yeah,
Because
what does
sometimes
she
when teacher says, hey, can you come up here and show me your work? Or can you do this math on the board, on the blackboard? She's like, no, I can't do it. And she gets all nervous and her face goes red,
Oh,
like Sammy
poor
the
one.
snail. Yeah.
But you've tried to talk to her several times.
Yeah, but she just gets so embarrassed, Sister Grace.
That's because she's shy.
Yeah,
You'll have
that's
to
true.
help her with that and also pray for her that she can overcome it, that she gets better. Because have you ever experienced that, Lucy? Because I have.
Yeah.
You know,
like when I get
I'm very shy. I mean, Lucy, because we're like friends, we can talk, and you come here, and
Yeah,
I
that's true,
have,
Sister
and I trust in you, and you trust in me, and we can talk like
Yeah.
friends. But you know, sometimes because of insecurity, one feels unsafe where they are.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was really, really shy, Lucy.
You were?
I could tell
Really?
you lots of stories that happened to me
Tell
when I
me
was
one,
little.
Sister Grace.
Well, you know,
Uh-huh.
one time, I'll tell you two. Once, when we went to the supermarket, my mom said, okay, she said to my older sister, all right, you're going, all three of you, with my younger sister and myself, to go buy the groceries for the party. You know, and so my mom sent us off there, and we arrived at the supermarket. And when we already had the cart all full, we had the potato chips and everything in there, all the drinks, all the ice cream ready for the
You
party.
guys had ice cream. What flavor did you guys buy?
I think it was strawberry, vanilla, chocolate.
Oh,
Because we
yeah.
love that. And fudge swirls.
Yeah,
it's
fudge
so
swirl,
good.
I love it.
And peanut butter.
Yeah?
Oh, Lucy, you're getting me hungry.
Okay.
Lucy.
It's not lunchtime yet.
Not yet. So anyway, we pulled up to the cart, and I was pushing it because I was so excited because I love to
Really?
watch my sister pay, and I
Don't
used
you
to put.
ever go inside? I go inside sometimes.
When I was little, but at
Now
that
you
time
can,
I could already
Sister
push
Kay.
the cart, so we would take out everything and we'd put it on the belt, and then the lady was checking them all out until the bill came, right? And it was about, gosh, it might have been near $100.
Really?
Yeah. So.
What'd you guys do?
So when she rang it up, she goes, I think it was like 98 something with tax.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, $98.70.
guys were like, okay,
and
here,
my
take
sister, because
this.
my mom gave my sister the wallet. So she gave her the wallet. And you know what happened?
What happened?
My sister opened the wallet and there was no money.
No way!
I was so embarrassed.
Oh my gosh.
Because we had gotten all the food and there was a long line behind us.
Really?
And we looked around and I said, what are we going to do? And I
You
looked
were
at my
so
sister
shy.
and I said, oh, and I turned all red. And then
You
my
did?
sister turned red. And my little sister, she didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
But we said, we have to call mommy because, you know, we don't have enough money.
Yeah.
So that's one that happened.
Is that that isn't shyness, right?
I was
You were
very
embarrassed.
I was embarrassed, but I was shy to tell the lady because my sister looked at me.
Yeah.
And there was no money, and she's
Oh,
like,
no.
tell her that
No,
there's no money, and I'm
Really?
like, and I'm really shy,
You
and I
know
was
what?
like, oh, why don't you tell her? You're older than
Oh,
I am. And my sister, and I was so
You know what?
shy to do that, and you know, and embarrassed at the same time.
You know when I get shy, Sister Grace, or
What
I
do you
get
do?
really, really embarrassed, and sometimes my face gets so red, I think that it's burning really. When my mom has a friend called Teresa, right? And when she comes to our house, she always goes, where's my little Lucy? Where's my little Lucy? And she looks for me, and then she grabs my cheeks, and she's like, you little chicken. And she starts kissing me all over my
Oh,
face,
that-
Sister
I
Grace.
know, that
and
happened
I get
to
so
me.
embarrassed. And sometimes I hide under the table because she's like, where's my little Lucy? And the other day, she nearly
But
see
Lucy,
me.
how could you're so cute. You know, I have these cheeks that I
Yes,
just want to
Sister
grab your cheeks.
Grace.
But
No
Lucy,
way.
it's true. God gave you those cheeks.
Yeah, but I get so shy and embarrassed when they say those
But
things.
you know, Lucy, you have to distinguish and see what the difference is between being shy, you know, and if the shyness, you know, sometimes it's not always good.
Yeah.
For example,
Yeah, my mom said that because if I'm shy, then I won't make friends with other people.
you won't make friends with other people, and if it takes control over you, and then you're just really shy, then you won't be able to talk to anyone and make any friends and do anything good.
And use my mom said use my talents. If I'm too shy, then I'll never use the talents
Your mom
that God
is right.
has given me.
God gave you so many talents. For example,
Yeah.
if God gave you the talent to
Play
sing
soccer,
or play
and to
soccer,
sing.
you know, those are talents from God. And you can't, you know, the Lord said you must use the talents I have given you. You know, don't bury them in the ground.
That's like a man did in the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they give him a talent, he hid it, right?
He
Sister
hid it.
Grace?
Yeah, and he didn't use the talent that God gave him.
Yeah.
You know, and it didn't multiply. And God wants us to use our talents. You know, also, Lucy, once when I was little, my mom said, Grace, you have to go up in front of everyone in church and talk about the poor people that, you know, we knew in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So that I could ask for money, you know, that people could give money to donate to those poor kids who had nothing to eat, no home. And I was like, Mom, I was so shy. And I was like, Mom, I don't want to talk. Why don't you go talk?
Yeah.
And she said, no, Grace, you have to go do it. You know,
Was there a lot of people? Was there more than 1 million people there, Sister Grace?
No, not 1 million, but there were more than 100.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
at the
that's a
Sunday
lot.
Mass. And I said, oh, Mom, and I was shaking. And I said,
You were really
you know why
embarrassed.
I had to overcome. She says, honey,
You have to come over
you
here and
have
overcome your
to
shyness, honey.
overcome your shyness because if you don't, who will work for those poor young children? And
Yeah,
and that
that's
made me
true,
think. And I
Sister
said,
Grace.
okay. And I walked up and I was shaking. You should have seen me, Lucy. My
Really?
hand was shaking. I was holding and I was like this,
Yeah.
and the podium started shaking. And I
Really?
was like,
Did it fall down? Did the whole church fall down?
no, I thought I was gonna fall down because I was so red. But you see,
Really?
Lucy, I had to overcome myself, and I had to say, okay, I had to talk to myself. I said, Lord, please help me, and then talk. Come on, Grace, get over your shyness.
Yeah.
Get over your shyness, or you'll never be able, you know, to do good things for God. And you know, even today, as a sister, I still, you know, it's
You
a
get
secret.
shy?
Sometimes I'm still shy.
Really?
You know, but
But now you do the things because God wants,
because
right?
God wants me to do them, and you know, He gave me some talents, and I have to use them.
Yeah, that's right.
And I love God, so I want to do it, and I know that God wants me to love everyone else.
You know what, Sister Grace?
What?
Then one day, as well in my class, there was a girl, okay? And we were going to do our school pictures.
Yeah.
First, you know how sometimes we get a class picture and then we get one each to give to our grandma?
Sure, you take the whole class picture together with your
And then we
teacher.
take one each, remember, to put in our little yearbook that we do sometimes? Well, you know what? One day, one of the girls, well, her hair was really, really messy, okay? And no one would tell her because they didn't want to tell her because they were so embarrassed. Because she's like a really popular girl in class, right?
But yeah, what
Yeah,
happened?
so they didn't want to tell her, okay? And I said, if I don't tell her, she's going to get her picture and her hair is going to be all over the place, you know? And she had it, and as well as we were playing outside, she had some grass in her hair at the back as we were rolling in the grass. And I was like, if no one tells her, well, you know what?
Did you
out of
tell her? Did you
shyness-
tell her?
At the end up, I didn't tell her, but one of my friends told her.
See,
Becky told her.
that saved her from a lot of embarrassment because, you know, many
But
times.
I was so shy, I
But
couldn't
Lucy,
tell her, Sister
Lucy,
Grace.
many times we have to speak the truth and tell people that things are not right,
Yeah.
and then they're
Becky
not
told
pleasing
her.
the Lord.
Becky told her, Sister Grace. I told Becky to tell her, and Becky told her. See?
That's very good. See, you need to, and you see, Lucy, if one is shy and cares about what everybody else thinks, you know, when they're speaking the truth and saying what's right and what has to be done, then they won't be able to do the work for God and to do what they have to do as their responsibility.
Hey, Sister Grace,
Yeah.
the bell.
All right,
Gotta go,
all right.
Sister Grace.
Hey, remember that
Hey,
shy
tomorrow
girl.
I'll bring you Sammy the snail if you
Okay,
want. Okay?
remember, talk to that shy girl again.
Okay,
Keep
Sister
trying
Grace.
and pray
okay,
for her.
thanks, Sister
Bye,
Grace.
Lucy.
Bye. Bye.
Lucy, it's time to go, Lucy. The bell has gone, Lucy. It's time to go home. Lucy, it's time to go, Lucy. The bus is here, Lucy. It's time to go home. It's been great fun this time with you. We hope to see you soon again.
God bless you, Lucy. Thanks for stopping by.